Hello, and welcome back to the Healthy-ish Home. If you're new here, our whole goal with this channel, with this podcast, is to just encourage, inspire, and motivate you in some small way. I'm your host, Ainsley.
And I'm Gerardo.
And today we're going to be talking about relationship. But we'll dive into that in a little bit. I just want to if you guys have been following along, we've been doing a series, like a little mini series within the episode about energy drinks. And we're on a search for an energy drink that we really enjoy, but that's also clean and what else? Like
third party
tested. Yeah, but we're putting a pause on that and we'll talk more about that next week. So today we haven't talked about our relationship in a while.
That's right. We haven't. We were due. One thing I was thinking about for the week that we can talk to our audience is having a team mentality in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a team in athletics, multiple people have the same goal to win, essentially. Right. So that's the idea of us having that team mentality, is that we are together with the same mission, striving to go there and work on that and work on us. But what does that actually look like? And how does our past experience and what we're doing now to make sure we're the best team that we can be?
That's right. That all sounds good. Do you think that it's a given that when you're in a serious relationship with somebody that you are on the same team, or do you think that's something that needs to be brought up and clarified?
I think it's best to be brought up, clarified, worked on, being intentional about. I think a lot of times maybe in the honeymoon stage, it's like you're so in love and just having so much fun. And then, flash forward 10 years, if you weren't being intentional or if you weren't already talking about it, it's really easy to miss that in your relationship and feel like two separate players in the same environment rather than two people on the same team running towards the same direction.
So that sounds like running towards the same direction. When you're on a team and you're playing a sport, and it's very obvious that, you're trying to score on the other team, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, water polo, even somewhat independent sports like track and field, the goal is to win.
Right.
So what are some of the dangers of not communicating with your spouse and talking about hey, because you might think what the other person is saying. You might assume that, okay, because this is my goal, because this is what I'm driving after, because this is what I'm focused on. Automatically, my spouse is focused on that too.
Not necessarily, unless you vocalize it, right? And that's the idea of supporting one another on our individual goals and our together goals. I'm just having that conversation is hey, this is what I'm striving for, and having each other support and doing that, whether it's some random hobby or something important that affects our future. Having that conversation and then letting your partner know that you're there and you got their back, and even if they struggle and if they're going to mess up or even in their failure, you're there to support them.
So this is somewhat of a coincidence, but I think we're talking about this. We're 2 weeks into the year, almost 2 weeks into the year, and goals are something that everyone's talking about right now. And we talked about SMART goals on our last episode. So I think this is a great time for you to grab that important person in your life and have that conversation. Hey, these are my goals. These are my ambitions. This is what I want to see from this year. What about you? What do you want to see? And stuff like that. So it's a good time to have that conversation. And we didn't go into our relationship with this conversation in mind. This is something that we've learned throughout the years.
Right.
And we were discussing that the other day. We hit a few hard spots that actually, if we're being honest, we looked at each other and said, do we want to keep doing this? And then went from there and decided yes. It wasn't until that second time, I think we were in year 6 or 7, to where we hit another rough spot and we're okay, we want to stay together. How do we make this work to where this doesn't happen every couple of years,
Yeah.
And that's when we really dove in, did the hard work, and found this whole analogy of team. We're a team. We are married. We're a family. We're a unit. And I think this is especially important in our conflicts because it's easy to feel like you got my back, you're my best friend, you're my teammate when all things are going smoothly. So it's easy to feel like we're on the same page, you're my teammate when everything's good and happy and easy. It's when you miss a couple plays and you fumble a few balls. That's when you're like, wait, are we on the same team? Do you have my back? Are we striving for the same goals? So how do we keep that team mentality when we're having conflict?
Yeah, and I think a valid thing to even say in those conversations is using that same verbiage. Like, hey, I am on your team. I know it feels like we're fighting each other, but in the big picture, in the big scope, it's like we are a team, and know that I do have your back. And whatever conflict that we're going through is just a temporary conflict that will, later down the road, will just add to our repertoire of making us stronger.
Yeah.
And just building us even more confident in our own relationship. But I think it's important to use that verbiage.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't forget, like, I am on your team. Like, I here to support you. And I know sometimes whether it's the miscommunication or the misunderstanding of something happens, it's easy to forget that, especially so many years later, where it's like having an internal battle of like, oh, why is he doing this to me? Or why doesn't she understand this late in the game, where it's like neither one of us are mind readers. And I think that's the biggest thing that's helped us in our relationship is not just being intentional, but striving to, it's been said 1,000 times, is miscommunication and getting better at communication.
Well, yeah.
But what does that actually look like? You can't just say, let's get better at something and then just magically it happens. Just like anything else that you want to get good at, it takes work and it takes effort and it takes books and it takes videos. It takes
practice.
Practice. And yeah, exactly.
It takes practice. Because I know we're both guilty of saying that. And then in the moment, we say the wrong things. And then I'm like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, that's so rude. Like, why? And vice versa. You often go, what's all of this? And that's like a trigger. I'm like, that's not nice. Like, obviously I'm in a bad mood. Why would you like address it that way? But I'm learning like, yeah, you're trying to be playful about it. And I'm like, whatever. And I walk away.
Glaring at me.
Well, even today, like, I was upset. I didn't take it out on you, but I was obviously upset because we weren't on our planned timeline for things we got to get done. And I expressed that to you. And I try to be playful. I'm like, well, I'm joyfully upset right now. I'm joyful because I'm with you and we're doing things and stuff. But we took the time to make a plan and you went rogue. So, which I get, what you were doing was important and had to get done. That's why I said joyfully, because I'm glad you're addressing something that was stressing you out, cleaning your tools. They're
so funny.
Well, no, they're an investment. Like we bought those. I get it. Had a leak. They got rained on. We don't have to dive too much into it. So I knew what you were doing and I knew it was important for you, but my feelings are still valid.
Yeah.
I was upset because we have a timeline. We only have so many hours in a day and there's a couple of things we have to do today that have to get done today.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I get it. I love you, but my feelings are still valid. I am upset because we do have goals that we're trying to hit.
And I should have communicated like, hey, this is where I am in this process. It's probably going to take me 10 more minutes. I don't know if that would have helped you, but I didn't communicate.
Yeah.
With you. So
again, yeah, we don't have to dive too much into it, but that's just an example of being on a team and what that might look like in a stressful situation. Like this is minor compared to other things, but it was
no, but the way you handled it was great. Like I feel like back in the day that would have just ruined the rest of our night. Something like that, just because it wasn't to the plan.
Yeah, I've gotten better throughout the years of being flexible because I'm not a flexible person. I'm very stubborn and I like having our plan and I like sticking to plans. I'm not a go with the flow kind of person, even though I would like to be and I try to be, but that's just not my personality. But it's something like saying that also, that's not an excuse. Like we have to learn to, go with the flow. Things don't always go as planned and that's okay. But part of that is like we're on the same team, because I could have easily thought like, oh, he's being so selfish right now. Like,
Or yeah, or he doesn't care.
he's doing something that only affects him. Like, those are his things, etc., etc., etc. But no, we're on the same team. We bought those tools. They're our tools. I don't use them, but they're ours, and we need to take care of our things. And yeah, it had a leak. Had to get those dried up and cleaned, and I get it. Yeah. But again, just like any kind of team, or any kind of profession, especially athleticism, you don't go into a game without preparing.
Right.
Even on the off season, you need to condition. So in a relationship, in our marriage, we're a team. Every day is a different game. How do we train for that? How do we train for those conflicts?
Yeah, I think there's an ongoing practice of growth and building in our relationship in our off season. Essentially, it's like when we're not having a fight or when we're not having something dramatic happening in our life.
Yeah.
In our study periods of time, we are still working in our relationship, little by little, and it might not be some huge weekend getaway, but we might be reading a book or doing a devotional or watching a YouTube or some type of thing that's adding fruit to our relationship. And I think doing stuff like that is essentially like reminding us and enforcing our team mentality, and I guess softening our hearts to the other person, so that when something does happen, we're like, no, like it's not going to be an automatic negative thought that comes out. It's going to be like, it's going to come out of like a heart, like empathy, essentially, rather than defensiveness.
Right. So essentially, conflicts are like our big games. Like that's when all the practice, all the conditioning comes in to play. When things are somewhat easy, no real big stresses in our life, those are our practices. Those are our conditioning days, where even on those days, we are having conversations. We are doing daily check-ins. We are doing a book together or doing a devotional together.
We're doing our walks together, like
we're communicating.
And like you said, it's a valid point. Like when we are doing our check-ins on a regular basis, I feel like we're less likely to have something that comes up that causes conflict, because it's like maintenance. You're maintaining, you're updating. Nothing's like being a surprise. We're communicating a lot more. We're walking. So we're, the natural endorphins are coming out, and it's easier to share and speak your heart out when you're constantly doing that on a regular basis. And the times that we are forgetting about our check-ins, or it's a super busy week because we're just grinding, there's a lot more tension, and that's the importance of our off season, our maintenance, our training, to prepare for that, things that might come up.
So let's do a quick recap. We did a lot of talking, we did a lot of communicating right now. We did a lot of conditioning, but essentially, it's really important to look at our relationship as a unit, as a team. And the way we maintain that team mentality is by continually doing maintenance, doing check-ins, practicing, by having open dialogue, by having conversations, by educating ourselves on how to get better every single day. And if we continue practicing, when we do hit game day, it will be easier to navigate through those conflicts.
Right. And to go even deeper, like it doesn't just have to be just from our regular day-to-day experience. It could be something technical that we learned out of a book, that we learned about ourselves. It's like, I know early on, a big thing that helped our relationship is to understand our natural impulses and our natural behaviors, to figure out what's going on, so that when we respond to the other person, it's like, oh, I think like that because I had this experience back in my life, or you thought that because of your previous experiences.
But there's big practices, big conditioning days, and smaller ones. So we've gone through books together, which is a commitment in and of itself, and it's really good. And we've gotten so much. We always go back to certain books that are really good, and we always talk about it together and recommend it to other people when they share their struggles with us. And then there's little things like the daily check-ins. Right? You don't always have to be hitting a hard practice. You
Right.
don't always, some practices are lighter and just, like I said, maintenance and conditioning. And some practices are, yeah, you know what? It's been a while. Do you feel like this is a good time to dive into a book? I might say no, but let's pick a 14-day devotional and,
Right.
go
Something
from
that's
there.
more
Doable.
digestible. Yeah.
And even good relationships go through little dry periods. Like, I know we're not the best, but I think we're really good. We're a really good team. And today, this week was one of the first weeks we had a longer check-in than just, how was your day? How are you doing? Let's compare calendars. Okay, let's go. We actually had a good hour where we talked and communicated, and we weren't just focused on one. We were able to just talk throughout a couple of weeks, and it was nice. And every season looks different. Like, there's seasons where we're really on top of it, and we have our daily walks and weekly check-ins and daily check-ins. And there's some weeks where we only have the daily ones, and we might have only gone on 2 walks. And some weeks we don't go on no walks, but we hit 3 gym dates. So it's like those practices look different in different seasons, and that's okay. Just because we're not hitting our weekly check-ins, or maybe we missed a couple of daily check-ins, doesn't mean we're failing as a team. It's just a season. And as long as we don't let that become a pattern and we catch it and we're like, okay, hey, which happens naturally for me. I'm like, hey, I miss you. Why do I miss you so much? This is why I miss you so much.
Why do I want to spend time with you?
But yeah, do you have anything else to add? Or I think
well, yeah, like that's the whole thing. That's kind of like our big philosophy that's like at the core. It's like, it's not having the perfect schedule to hit all these perfect things to check in and perfect relationship.
Like, everything in our life is not all or nothing.
Right.
Which is one of our big philosophies I forgot to mention in the beginning. But yeah, we're here to help you guys ditch that all or nothing mentality in every aspect of your life, and just giving it the best you can in that day at that moment. That's what it takes, and continually showing up for yourself and for those you care about. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please give us a like and subscribe. Give us some feedback in the comments. Let us know what your favorite energy drink is. Let us know how you and your spouse practice for that big game. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.